It's Friday the 13th, December 13th, 2024. Welcome to another segment of Herrity and Ebner. I'm your host, Sean Herrity, along with my compadre, co-pilot, and wingman, Dr. Stefan Ebner from LANA, AP.MA, attorney at law in Frankfurt, Germany. Welcome, Stefan.
Hey, how are you?
We are shooting from the Aussicht Hotel. In German, that means what, Stefan?
A wonderful view, outlook
Wonderful
over the
view.
scenery. Yeah.
We do. We have a wonderful view with the river behind us. We're in the fall season in Germany, so the leaves are changing. Pretty soon we'll be getting some snow.
Indeed.
So today's segment, we're going to be talking a little bit about what is it like to work in Germany as an employee. I myself have lived and worked in Germany for over 20 years. Our guest, Ed Diggs, is going to share a little bit about his story, and we also have the legal employment's perspective from an expert, Dr. Stefan Ebner. So my first question is really directed to you, Ed. What was your employment like in Germany? What were you, quote unquote, recruited to do in Germany? And give us a little overview of that experience.
I had a very unique employment relationship. I was recruited to migrate all the electrical, software, mechanical systems for a aircraft test facility that's located in Neuburg here. It's American owned and operated and managed locally by Germans that are here that help out with the facility. The experience was interesting.
Nicely said.
Yeah. I think it falls out of the normal, typical German experience, but from an employment perspective. But my interactions and socializing here, I think I gained a better understanding of how German companies operate than from necessarily my own experience. And definitely afterwards, after the employment relation ended, I think that it gave me a much better perspective on how companies actually operate versus how we actually operated in Germany.
How long were you working in Germany? Which time period?
I was formerly a resident of Germany from 2019 until currently, but I started traveling back and forth working on a tourist visa since 2017.
I came to Germany in August of 2005 during the middle of my MBA program from Pepperdine University with an exchange program at the European Business School in Österreich-Winkel, which is just a little bit behind Wiesbaden along the Rhine River. And really since about 2005, I've been in Germany. I would say it's been an interesting experience as well if we stay on that word. I think in all cases, if you look at the intercultural approach, it's natural to see positives and negatives. It's natural to find things that you like, things that you dislike in comparison to your home country. I think that's what makes the experience in total, quote unquote, interesting. And maybe in a similar light, you took an interest in going abroad and going on a journey to another country like Germany because you were curious. You're passionate about challenging yourself and trying something new. I know that was really a driving factor for myself, was to break out of the typical stereotypical American mold of Americans don't speak any other languages than English. Americans don't know much about geography. Could they even say where Germany is on the map?
Berlin is not a country.
Berlin is not a country yet. So my background is that I was born in the United States, or in and around the Los Angeles area. My mother is first generation Croatian. She and my grandparents immigrated from former Yugoslavia after World War II to the United States. So I grew up speaking English, Croatian. I learned Spanish in school, throughout school up until college. And in approaching an advanced degree in international business, an MBA degree, I pursued the German language. So I think from my international background and European influences, Croatian heritage, there was also a drive on my my personal quest in life to remain in an international environment, to work internationally, and to continue to develop cultural awareness and language skills. What was so attractive to you, Ed, in wanting to work abroad, especially in Germany? Was it the location? Was it the German food, the German beer, the German language, or just was it the subject matter of the work that was offered to you?
You know, I think that I kind of thrive on adversity in my life. Like I have an entire life of really taking adversity and turning it into something. I had traveled internationally for work quite a bit, and it was, I think, as an expat, you know how challenging being an expat is, and how it's a really personal it's a really personal experience to each expat. And when, for example, when other people tell you they know how you feel or try to empathize with you, other expats know that's not possible. I cannot possibly understand your story. I know it sucks being an expat a lot of times. So it's that personal story, that the adventure of it, but just really the adversity of it. I knew I was not good at it when I traveled, especially when I was younger and in a relationship. It really took a physical and mental and emotional toll on me. And but I learned to get grips with it and to embrace it. And then an opportunity opened up where I got basically to explore all of Europe and wanted to throw myself into just the toughness of it. And so I was really in a place in my life where I was testing my performance across the board. And so I was testing my performance of tolerance, testing my performance of, you know, being away from friends and family. And so coming here kind of gave me that opportunity to be out in the wild. And I really had this like into the wild, like desire, I guess, in life to come here and
Exploration. But I think also at some point well, I don't know if this was the case with your story, but in my case, it took me about 5 years to stop making comparisons. It took me about 5 years to stop thinking in English before I would speak in German. It took me about 5 years to stop to stop comparing prices in euros to dollars. What was kind of that integration adjustment for you, and did it ever kind of click to where you started to feel more at home in Germany, maybe feeling more like a German local, even though you had those international ties to the U.S. and you can't deny the fact that you're an expatriate?
I think I started to feel like a German when I started to have to fight their systems.
Okay.
After my employment.
Challenge the law.
I think I'm still comparing a little bit, maybe. You know, I think I probably do still compare quite a lot. You know, like I said, my experiences here was interesting and kind of different than the normal employment relationship. And I also still was spending a lot of time flying back and forth to the United States. And so unfortunately, I did not get to learn German because I was either living here in Neuburg in complete isolation. There was no friends, no family, no coworkers here. And taking language classes was then a 3-hour ordeal to get to the next town over to take language classes. And I was traveling too much to stay in a class once I would start a class. So unfortunately, I have not had a chance to do that, but I will before I leave for sure. So I don't get I think diving into the language gives you the ability to kind of stop making those comparisons. And so it really, it prevents me from having that kind of letting go of the differences. I would say but I do more comparison, or at first did more comparisons with Americans and their lack than Germans and their lack. And so
Lack of what?
just lack of knowledge is a big thing. Like Americans have a very small view of the world that I think is very stifling to progress and to their mentalities. They're, you know, and you know, I personally think that this is all geographically driven. You can hop on a plane here and be in Paris in 2 seconds.
Or a train.
Or a train.
In a few hours, yeah.
And so, you know, you don't get to have these type of experiences in the United States because it wouldn't work as a business model. Things are just too far apart.
You can drive in Texas 10 hours and still be in Texas.
Exactly. And so, you know, and that's the typical American experience. And so you kind of stay in this bubble. And I got outside of the American bubble and then promoted getting outside of that American bubble. And then now that I've been here long enough, I'm kind of having an experience of going back the other way, where I'm identifying more with American stuff now because I'm having to deal with a lot more not fun stuff in Germany. And so, you know, it's the grass is, what I've learned is the grass is always greener. And so from a comparison perspective from that, I stay away from like, oh, it's better there, or this is better here, and just kind of focus on more factual things.